Greetings, beloved elite, love, Lord and Lordettes, a divine diamond light. Christ consciousness shift here with a video. This one is like a part 2 of Don't Be Afraid to Leave. The Chuck and the Deuces message I previously posted, and I feel like when I posted that message, it could have sparked some changes in people's world, where they realize through my message and what I've experienced, they realize there may be a transition they need to take themselves in order to free themselves from certain attachments that no longer serve their highest good. Just put it that way. And in this message, I'm going to tell a story of an experience that I had which caused me to leave a certain friendship. And this is what I'm saying. It wasn't necessarily anybody really doing anything wrong, but because of my values changed, my standards changed. It wasn't like a full-on like cut people off kind of vibe, but it was, I'm distancing myself. And then even though like friendships kind of lingered on after that a little bit, it was a major situation which created that separation to start happening. All right, so it was quite a long while ago, so I can't really remember all the details, but I remember the main parts, and I'm just gonna try and tell the story as accurately as I can, just so you lot can see how and why some of these situations can be necessary to separate from people in order for you to continue to grow without having those energies that are no longer resonating or in alignment. So I went to a friend's house. This friend I've known since primary school. Like we've always been close. Like it's like a soulmate kind of friend. And like he had like brothers and sisters where I grew up by myself. So it's like, cause me and this friend was so close, like I was close with the whole family. Like it was that kind of friendship. Like it was like we was brothers without actually being brothers. We was kind of close from young days. And anyway, I went to this friend's house. I ended up getting into an argument with one of the younger brother's friends, and something like I'm spiritual, early stages of my spiritual journey, and I'm coming to terms of how corrupt religion is. And I've gone to my friend's house on this revolutionary type of, inspired to be on this kind of revolutionary against religion type of vibe. And bear in mind, I'm on my spiritual journey. my friends, and definitely not my friend's younger brother's friends, ain't really on that yet. They ain't reached there yet. But I'm there, and I've gone there. Like, let's say Christ is going to um, initiate his disciples. But yeah, they're not ready. But I've gone over there anyway. And it's like I wanted to address the corruption of religion. But it was like the younger brother's friends was there. And it's like as soon as the younger brother's friend heard me say something about religion, it's like he felt like he had to defend it because he was a Christian. And it was like I got a little bit offended that this guy, obviously he's melanated like I am, and obviously I associate religion with slavery. I don't think any of these younger guys know about that connection there. Like, he was more like, I'm a Christian, my mom, my dad is Christian, that's what we've been. He's kind of defending it on that term. And it's like, me in on my level right there and then, I got kind of upset that this guy and these people, like, obviously we're all friends, we all know each other, but it's like when I started to realize the level of consciousness that these people are on, and it's like even like the older brothers and stuff, they didn't really know. Like they're not. It's like the Matrix has kept us distracted with a lot of stuff that make us not see how things have changed, not really know real history and things like that. So where I'm learning, I'm knowing these things, a lot of people around me, they don't know it. So when the guy's kind of defending religion and Christianity, like it's like I'm I'm getting really agitated because I'm expecting my friends to just realize that, yeah, religion, that's BS. Like, that's just control. Like, that's what that system enslaved our ancestors and made us work for hundreds of years for free and cause all of this imbalance supporting the racist kind of system and all of that stuff. But it wasn't that. Like, I had like one of my friends, little brother's friends, um, actually stand up to support it. And it's like, and it was like he really was. Anyway, I just got agitated and I actually shouted at the brother's friend, sorry. I shouted angrily. Like, it was that anger where it's like, man's a Judas. Like, you are supporting those systems that killed the real Christ kind of energy. Like, you are supporting the Christ killers. Like, man's really, well, I don't even think it was even, that is a later stage of my awareness, but back then that was more like You are supporting the slave masters. Like, you are supporting those that killed off our ancestors and enslaved them, beat them, hung them, forced them into work for free, brainwashed them. That's what you're supporting. Like, I got kind of, this is the energy that I had, but I didn't say none of that. I just kind of just shouted. I can't really remember exactly what was said, and it's not really that what was said may not have been important, but it was the anger. Like, the anger that I expressed made the guy cry. Like, people had to take him and separate him from a different room. And it's like, no one understood where did this anger come from. Like, I'm just shift. Like I was shift then. I was not shift of consciousness, and I definitely weren't Christ consciousness. Like, these are the stages. I went from shift to consciousness shift to Christ consciousness. And when I was shift, I was still at the beginning stages of my spiritual journey. But the frustration I had that people just did not know the truth, and they was willing to stand up for systems and institutions that cause a lot of suffering and pain and separation, confusion. But when the guy started crying, I was fuming that little brother don't know. But the thing is, the whole family don't know. Like, I was the only one that was saying something about religion and how we should just kind of like nip it in the bin. Like, that's rubbish. We don't need nothing to do, religion. And I got heated that someone wanted to kind of argue against that view. Anyway, things cooled down. Nothing didn't really happen out of it, but everyone was kind of looking at me like, yo, what was that all about, kind of thing. Like, I got really angry just because somebody that was associated with me was supporting religion. You know what I mean? And now, obviously, now I know that it's even religions are part of that system that ganged up against Christ, Yeshua, and betrayed him and killed him off. Is the same system, but that's thousands of years ago. Like, just a couple hundred years ago, the system enslaved African people and done that thing. And that was more of what I was kind of upset about back then. But after that, I was like, you know what? I can't really go back round to my friends like that anymore. I can't really go there with my level of awareness that I am at now, because there's no resonance. And it was just kind of that simple. Like, from that situation there, I left. And I left kind of, it was quite negative, because I got upset, I got angry, caused all of that fire, like I was so fiery. And then I left, and everyone was kind of in confusion. So hopefully, if my peoples watch this video, you would I've explained certain things about slavery. I never really, maybe I addressed some of those things then, but like, people couldn't really understand. Like, when it comes to the Christian mindset, it's like, we believe in Jesus. Jesus never existed. Like, Jesus is a false it's just a distortion. So the fact that you just believe in something that isn't even true, and you feel like that's justice for being what you support and all of that stuff, it's just confusion. It's just a whole heap of confusion, and because it's like where they're at, I'm much more able to accept it now that people are just on that level of awareness. Like, I went to church when I was a child, but it wasn't really that. It wasn't even really that. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't really caught up in it. I was just following, like, my mum was going to church. I gotta go because I'm the only child. And where she goes, I gotta go. She ain't gonna leave me in the house as a young child. You know what I mean? I gotta go. So I went to church. And it didn't really seem like a good or a bad thing. It was just going there. But as I learned the history, I understood about the manipulation and the control. Certain scriptures in the Bible about slaves honor your masters according to the flesh and all of that. Like, that's Ephesians chapter 6 verse. It's there in the verses. I think 5 or something like that. But it just shows like the magic and the spells and the mind conditioning and the control. Because how can God come and tell another God to come and work for me for free, and you get to go to heaven? But it's too much. It's too much for me to really fully get into the isms and schisms about the corruption of religion. I've been doing that a little while, and it's time for me to stop. But when you realize that there may be people around you that are still supporting that, and you know that don't really, you past being in agreement or being in alignment with that, it doesn't mean that those that are still in alignment or still in agreement with it are wrong. It's just that they're at that stage. You passed that stage a long time ago, and associating or mixing with people on that stage can be quite annoying and frustrating, because you may want to be you may be wanting to deal with more things of a more mature, more advanced, more accurate aspect of history and reality, where they're still stuck on certain distortions that ain't even true. You know what I mean? And this can cause frictions and things like that that doesn't need to happen anymore. You passed it. The only thing you're doing is holding on to those that ain't passed. So it's kind of keeping you stagnant from really branching into the world of information that you are in tune with now, and keep trying to. And the thing is, with me, at that stage when I was shift, I didn't want to grow and evolve and go on this spiritual journey by myself. I didn't want to do that. I wanted everyone to come with me. That's why I got so heated. I didn't really understand that at that stage that everybody's gonna grow in their own time, and if you are ahead of them, that's you. You can't drag them with you. That's gonna be very draining, and you're kind of impeding against people's level of development according to their soul level. You know what I mean? You can't treat everybody like they're on the same level. So yeah, I got heated, and that level of anger that the people see that I was on, they didn't understand it. You know what, yeah, shift. I can imagine them talking when I left, like, you know what, shit, you went deep, you know, like, yeah. I can imagine, because usually I'm just cool, but I'm I'm growing and I'm having thoughts and feelings and desires for change. And I'm aligning with certain changes to help with man's growth because man's getting into learning real history, understanding more about what is going on in reality and not being caught under the spell of certain these control systems. So, yeah, I feel like this may be enough because I separated myself, I distanced myself, and I continue with my journey. And then now I understand that if someone's religion, that's cool because that's their stage. And I know I don't need to drag nobody that ain't ready. I don't need to do that. There's gonna be plenty of people on my level that I can group up with that are gonna resonate. And it's the letting go of the people that I used to resonate with. That's the burner. That's the thing. It's like, oh, man, done years. Man went through a holy like a lot of stuff. Years, 20 like around 20+ years with friends, going through dramas, learning. Right. I remember when I used to teach. Um, we had a phase where we had these nunchucks. Let me tell you those. Hey, quick another story about the nunchucks. I went to karate. You know what I mean? I learned some skills with the nunchucks, like Bruce Lee, and like in my teenage, yeah, I thought I wanted to show off some of my skills. I don't go karate anymore, but I just remembered a lot of my skills from when I used to go karate. And it was cool when I was like in my teens doing my nunchuck, showing everyone wants to know how to do these nunchucks now. I remember one time, yeah, my brethren is he's doing his nunchuck thing after he's training. Like obviously he's um we were practicing in the home, and then everyone kind of had ended up having their own nunchucks. People got metal ones and things like that. It was like I kind of sparked up a little vibe with the nunchucks. Anyway, one of my brethren went to the chicken shop with nunchucks, training just on the road. Hey, police ended up. Police got caught. Hey, I don't know if I'm gonna cut out this laughing, but police got called to deal with my brethren with the nunchucks in the shop. The story is so funny, it's hilarious. Like obviously the police came. It was like, you got an offensive weapon. He didn't even know. He didn't even know. Like yeah, you were just doing his thing. You were just training. You just wanted to get your skills up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if people call police or whatever, but yeah, people must have called police, and they got confiscated. Like nunchucks just started to go down after. Anyway, that was the one other funny story. Like those were the memories, like the good times that man had to walk away from, like real close for years people, you know what I mean? Even like family members that kind of was in man's man's life. Like man has to move on. They're not ready. It's not a bad thing. It's just how the shifts are occurring. People are not going to be crossing the finish line at the same time. People are not graduating in the same time in the same year. We need to learn how to accept that. Be grateful that we are, or whoever is, in the first like the first to reach those higher levels of consciousness to inspire others to grow and know deeper things and be more in tune with source and nature and things like that. And understand that as you do make these changes, that you make it more, you show people that it's a part of growth, sometimes separating, but not separating out of anger and hate, depending on the circumstances which make you realize that you are no longer in resonation, or you no longer resonate with certain people you're around. But yeah, the change is necessary most times. And even though you have good memories and you've been through a lot of stuff together, when you reach that level where you no longer resonate, you've grown to a certain capacity where this change is going to happen to you. Certain things happen, certain catalysts spark these changes, and it's like you're gone. You gotta keep moving. And these people that you was always around can't come because they ain't reached. They haven't gathered the amount of light in order to have these transformations happen yet. Everyone's going to get there in their own time. You're just ahead, and that's a part of your nature. So yeah, didn't really want this message to be that long, but I knew I was gonna get into I knew there was gonna be a few points that I wanted to address, just to help people understand. Like, it can be a bit frustrating being around people that are no longer in alignment with your new level of consciousness, and letting go is the best thing you can do for yourself and for them and for the planet and for the process of ascension. Alright, family, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave y'all in peace, love, oneness, amen. So be it.